Hi, welcome back to Hollie Hobbies. Let me show you how to make this tulip bouquet wreath. This wreath is easy to make and the results are spectacular. It makes a great gift and perfect for Mother's Day. So let's get started and have some fun and create this gorgeous tulip bouquet together. For a tulip bouquet, we will be using 5 rolls of deco mesh. I have all these beautiful colors here that will be the colors of our tulip bouquet. And then I have this green here that we'll be using for the leaves and the stems. So I'm going to start with this pink, and we're going to start with our first tulip. And I'm going to be using just regular rubber bands for this. And we're gonna take our rotary cutter, or you can use your scissors, and we're gonna cut into 10-inch strips. And it's gonna take 4 pieces to make 1 tulip. So I'll get 4 of these started, and we're gonna begin our very first tulip for our tulip bouquet. Okay, so we're going to start and we're going to take 2 of our pieces and see how the curl side is up. So we're going to stack them, and we want to put the finished edges together, curl side up, and we want to get our 2 pieces right on top of each other. And then what we're going to do is I'm just going to always keep the finished edge to the right, and then we're going to pull down and make a triangle here. Now we're going to pinch the middle of the triangle, and we're going to take each side and we're going to roll it. You can roll it once, or you can do another one if you want, and then we're going to drag it in to the center. So I'm going to roll it once and I can drag it in like that, or if I can roll it once and I can roll it twice if I want and drag it in. And what we're making is a scoop. And you can see that right here, and looks just like a scoop. And at this point, we're gonna take our scissors, and this gets very messy, so it helps if you get a bag or a bowl or something, and you can cut these into, because it will make a big mess all over. And then we're gonna take our rubber band, and I'm gonna divide it in half, and I'm just gonna go ahead and place that at the end of our first scoop. And we're going to make another one, and we're going to make our second scoop and curl side up. We're going to put our 2 pieces together, and we're going to keep the finished edges together. And I'm going to keep my finished edge off to the right. I'm going to pull this down into a triangle. And you can make it nice and flat if you want, or you don't have to. I like to pinch it here in the middle, and I'm gonna fold and drag to the center. Once again, we're gonna fold and drag to the center. And if you do wanna do that second fold, you can do that as well. Like this one, I'm gonna take apart again. I'm gonna pinch in the middle, we're gonna fold. I'm going to fold this again one more time and then drag it towards the center. We're going to fold twice and drag it towards the center. And now we have another scoop. And now we've made another scoop. And we're going to go ahead and cut off and leave about a 1/2 inch or so. Gonna get your rubber band, and we're gonna go ahead and put that on the end. So now we have 2 scoops here, and this is what we're gonna use to make our tulip. Now, the great thing about this is it doesn't have to be perfect, and they can be irregular, and You can put them together this way. You can go up, down, this way. However you want to do it is perfectly fine. And it's almost like imperfect is perfect. So we're going to put the 2 half scoops together. And now I'm going to rubber band them both together there. So now we've made our first tulip with our 2 scoops. So I'm going to cut some more deco mesh in our 10-inch strips, and we're going to make another one together. All right, I have another 4 10-inch pieces cut, and we're going to make another tulip together. I have curl side up. I'm going to put my 2 pieces on top of each other, and I'm going to keep the finished edges together. And we're going to keep the finished side to the right, and we're going to fold it into a triangle, and we're going to pinch it in the middle, and we're going to fold and drag. And this side we're going to fold if you want to do another fold if you think you need to, and we're going to drag. And you just kind of will get into your rhythm. And like I said, every scoop is going to look different, and that's what makes this tulip so wonderful, because as you know, if you see tulips in the field, they're not, every tulip isn't exactly the same. So we're going to, we made our scoop, and now we're going to cut the end here. And you can see what I mean by how messy it starts getting. And we're gonna take our rubber band, put it in half. And if you have little silicone rubber bands, anything will do. This is all I could find, and it's working out just fine. And so we have a scoop here, and I'm gonna continue to make the next scoop. We'll do this one together as well. We have curl side up, and I'm gonna put my finished edges together. And I have my finished edge on the right-hand side. We're gonna fold it down into our triangle. We're gonna pinch the center here, the point of the triangle, and we're gonna do a roll and a drag to the pinch. And we're going to roll and drag to the pinch. And then we form a scoop, and there's another scoop. And so we're gonna, once again, we're gonna cut the end, and we're gonna leave about a ½ inch to 3/4 of an inch. And we're gonna take our rubber band, and we're gonna go ahead and rubber band the end. So it takes 4 10-inch pieces to make 1 tulip, and we have 2 scoops here, and you see how they're different. And like I said, they're nothing, that's what makes the tulip so neat. And you can go like this, you could go higher, you could go the same, however you would like to form. You could go off to the side, however you want to put these together. It just looks so cool no matter what you do. So I'm gonna place those facing each other, and I'm gonna go ahead and rubber band those together. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna keep making a bunch of our tulips in every color, and you saw that we had all the different colors. So we're gonna start by making 6 of each color of our tulips, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and make 4 more of these pink tulips, and then we'll check back in with each other. So I've made 6 of my tulips so far, and you can see we still have a little bit of deco mesh, and you notice as it starts getting towards the end of the roll, it gets very curly and starts bouncing back on you, and you have to work a little bit more with it. So we're gonna go ahead and try to get 1 more one more tulip out of this last bit of deco mesh here. And I'm gonna make one more and we're gonna be right back. And that's gonna give us a total of 7 tulips. We're gonna do 7 tulips in each color, but we're gonna do a few more together, and I hope that you're getting the hang of them as you're going along. I know it just takes a little bit, and then you start just flying through them. See how the deco mesh curls back on you as we start getting towards the end here, so just be careful. And there you go. See, we'll probably get one more, but I think we're gonna be good with 7, but we will have a little bit in case we do wanna have an extra one for a filler. So just keep that in mind. That's totally up to you, but I find that 7 is perfect for what we're doing right now. So we're gonna put one more together, and we're gonna do the curl sides up. And like I said, it starts getting a little bit more harder to work with as we get towards the end here, but and I like actually how these turn out, because it looks really cool with like the real curly center part of a tulip with these ends here. So now I'm just gonna drag, we're gonna roll and drag, and we have our scoop here. We're gonna cut, and we'll put our rubber band on it. And we're gonna do this last one together. And then what we're gonna be doing is going through each of our different colors that we had, and we're gonna be making 7 tulips out of every color. And then we're gonna get ready to put them onto our wreath form and begin our design. So we'll do this last one together. We're doing a fold and a drag, and you can just pinch it in however you like it. And there we go. So we have our 2 halves, and we're gonna put those together. Like I said, you could do anything you want, anything that you want to do. We're gonna put those, it all just looks great no matter how you put them together. Looks like different stages of a tulip opening up on a beautiful spring morning. All right, so this completes all of our tulips in this color. So now I'm gonna go ahead and go through with all my other colors, and we're gonna do the same, make 7 tulips in every color. And then we will meet back with all of our tulips, and I'll show you how to put it all together. So I have all my tulips made in all these beautiful spring colors, and we're gonna begin the next step by adding them to our bouquet. All right, so first we're gonna take this plastic mesh, and it's a 13 by 22 inch, and we're going to measure, find the center of the top here, and we're gonna put a mark at the 6.5 inches right there. And then we're gonna make 2 triangles. Well, it's actually gonna be 3. We're gonna go from the center point to the corner, and we're just gonna get a Sharpie. And what this is gonna do is we're gonna make 3 forms, a big one and 2 little ones, and then we're gonna go from this corner. So none of this mesh is gonna go to waste. And right now we're gonna be using the big part of it, but we're getting this ready. And when I originally saw this design, they were using the plastic Christmas tree form with the pre-cut holes, and I couldn't find one, so I wanted to improvise because I fell in love with the design and immediately ran to the store the next day to get the supplies. And this is what I came up with to use to try to improvise what I saw, and it worked out perfectly. So, and the cool thing about this is you get 3. Like I said, you get this big one here, and then we'll have these 2 triangles on the side to use as well for smaller bouquets. So we're just gonna go ahead and cut this plastic mesh, and I'm gonna have my wreath form ready for our design. So now I have our form cut, and this is gonna be the one we're gonna use. This will be for a large bouquet, and then we have these 2 extra pieces that we can use for smaller bouquets later on. So let's get started, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna put it this way. Instead of like this way, like you would a Christmas tree, we're gonna flip it over. And we're gonna do this way, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a tulip bouquet. And this is where we're gonna put our tulips, and we're just gonna stack them in colors in groups. And right now we're just kind of placing them on. We're just showing you what the general design is here. And look at how pretty this is going to be. We are going to make a tulip bouquet that's going to look just like you bought a bouquet of tulips for your sweetheart on Mother's Day, or your mother, or a graduation. And look at how beautiful this is going to be. So we're going to create this, and we're going to be putting all of our tulips that we made, and we're going to be adding them to our bouquet. So I just wanted to show you just generally what we're going to be doing here. And we haven't added anything yet. And we're going to be building this design, and it is going to be gorgeous, and it is going to look just like you went to the floral shop and bought a gorgeous bouquet. So this is the general idea, and then I'm going to show you how to make these leaves that we're going to add to the design as well. So we're going to start that next, and then we're going to begin by attaching our tulips to this plastic mesh. So for this next step, we're going to take our green deco mesh, and we're going to cut a piece into 10-inch strips, just like we were doing with the other. And then I have these little clips that I'm going to use from the Dollar Tree. And this, we're going to make leaves and stems with this green deco mesh. So I'm going to cut in 10 inches. And we're going to do 2 different types. So this first type, we're going to keep our finished edge on the right, and we're going to take the corner, and we're going to go from corner to corner, and we're just going to start rolling like this. And we're going to roll a big piece from corner to corner with our green, and we're just going to make like a big roll here, a real tight roll. And that's going to create a stem for us, for our tulips. And we can also bend it, and we're going to be placing it in for leaves as well. So we're going to get a few of these ready, and we'll just use our clip to keep that in place. And you can make about 6. I mean, we're going to need a few, but for now I'm going to make 6. And we're going to be using these as we attach our tulips to our plastic mesh. we'll be adding these in as well for fillers. And we're just gonna get these prepped and ready to go. So I have 2 per clip. And I'm gonna go ahead and get 4 more of these ready. And then we're gonna begin attaching our tulips and our stems and leaves to our plastic mesh form. So I'm finishing up my last stem here that I'm gonna just start with 6 and see how it goes. So I have 2 on each clip, and these clips are just holding them until we're ready to use them as our fillers. So we're gonna get ready to get all of these attached with zip ties now. So for this next step, we're gonna start attaching our tulips to our plastic mesh form, and we're gonna need some zip ties for this next step. And I like to use these, and they're gonna have to be small enough to fit through the little holes on this plastic mesh. So I like these zip ties, which I'm gonna use. These are from Hobby Lobby floral ties, and I like to use them in a lot of my things. They're just real thin and they're easy to work with, and they go perfectly, they will fit perfectly in this mesh. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start grouping. We're gonna start with our first color, and we're going to, and as you saw how we placed them before, we're just gonna do another trial and place a few. So the first one you wanna kind of stick so it's sticking up over the edge, like it's coming out of the top of the bouquet. So we're gonna start with this one, and we're gonna make it, here's the edge, and we're gonna have it sticking out the top. And remember, we were trying to make this look like a bouquet, and it's definitely gonna be a regular, and everything's not gonna be exactly the same. You're gonna have flowers sticking out, going this way, that way. So we're gonna try to recreate that. So I'm gonna stick this up this way to kind of figure out where I want it. I have it coming up off the top of this corner. And then what we're gonna do with our zip ties is you're just going to do the best that you can, and you kind of see where it's at. And then I'm gonna gauge it. I'm gonna stick it in the hole here, and I'm just going to kind of pick a little spot where I think it's gonna work good. It's about 1/2 inch or so. I'm gonna put that back there, and if I like it, I like the way that looks. It's coming off the top, it's covering that corner there, and I'm gonna go ahead and zip tie this down to the plastic mesh. And remember, we have this is our triangle, and we have it flipped upside down so it comes down with a point at the bottom. So I'm gonna go ahead and zip tie, and let me find my colors. And we're go ahead, and we've placed the first one on. We're gonna tighten it really good, and we're gonna give it a clip. So there we have our first tulip placed onto our bouquet. And so you're just gonna play around with this and have some fun. And you're gonna decide where you wanna put your tulips. So like this one's hanging up the top. So this one I'm gonna come down further. So that one looks like it's hanging out a little bit higher. So this one I'll place, and you can put them however you want. You want this way, you want this way. You can see how everyone looks a little bit different, and you just decide how you want yours. And I think I'm gonna put that one right there, and I have it coming down just a little bit. It's nestled next to that one, and I like that spot. So I'm gonna grab my next zip tie, and I wanna make sure I have it the right way, where when I bring it up, it's faced the right way to go through the hole there. So this is about where I want the placement. I'm gonna bring this one a little bit closer to the edge here, and see how that one is coming out a lot higher, so I just think that looks so pretty. Okay, so this is about my spot right here. And this is all about just guesstimation with your zip tie. It's not a right or wrong. And sometimes it's easier if you just kind of hold it in your hand like that. And you want to get it, you don't want to be too far apart with your zip tie because you want to make sure it's secured really good to the frame here. So I have my zip tie. As you can see, I have it, I actually don't really like it like that. I'm going to turn it a little bit more to the side. There we go. And I'm going to make sure I still like that. Bring that down a little bit. And I want to try to zip tie it over the rubber bands to make sure we're holding both of those tulip petals together really good. And now I'm going to tighten that down. And you see how I have that one placed just a little bit closer to the edge, and this one's popping out the top. And we're just going to keep going with our bouquet, and we're going to add all of our fuchsia colors right now. And as we're going along, this is where we're going to have our green stems, and we're going to fold these in half, and then we can always use these as fillers wherever that we like. If you want them coming out the top or off to the side, you can put all your tulips on first, and then you can add these later if you see any gaps. So that's what those are for. I like to add them later after I add my tulips, but you can do them as you go along as well. Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna just kind of figure out where I want the placement of everything. And this one I'll probably have facing the side, like it's coming up, popping out the side here. And I'm gonna put that right about like that. So I wanna make sure I put my zip tie not down on this part because it'll just fall out. You want it to go above the rubber band or however you secured your tulip. So I'm gonna eyeball it as best as I can with the holes there. And I'm gonna come up the other side. I'm gonna try to get as close as I can without spreading it too far wide where it's not getting a good grip. And see how I'm just above that rubber band? And I'm gonna give it tighten it down really good, and we're gonna clip. And see how this one I have, if you look at the back, see how they're hanging over the edge of our plastic mesh. So I'm getting ready to place this next one, and I'm just gonna place it so I want to try to cover up the rubber bands and the zip ties as best as possible. And I'm gonna, sometimes you have to play around and see how they're sticking up. So I'm going to use this gap right there and put that part right in there. You just got to play around and you will find your sweet zone. So I'm going to use this little mesh in here, and I'm going to take my zip tie. And what's nice with this and all the mesh is you have so many holes and options to choose from. See how that's a little bit wider than I like? I'm going to just thin that, make that a little bit less wide. There we go. And you have more options of where you want to place things instead of limiting to those bigger holes on those plastic forms. So there we go. We have another one secured. And I'm going to have a few more of the fuchsia that I'm going to add. And then we're going to start with another color. And this one, let's see. I think I'll put this one like in. Oh, this one's sticking out more, so I think I'll put this in a little bit. You just want to kind of zigzag, layer, and keeping it above that rubber band. And you'll get in your flow. And you'll start figuring out what works best for you with your zip ties and your placement. And here's another one. So we have a couple more of this fuchsia, and then we're going to start with another color. And let's see, I think with this one, I think I'll have this one coming out the top a little bit. Maybe I'm going to come down with this one a little bit so it's just right pretty close to that edge right there. So this is the part, the main parts that are coming off, okay? And I'm going to try to keep it above this rubber band here. So once you kind of get the general area, you can lift this up and get your, you can see a little bit better when you take that off, and then put it back and secure it to the mesh form really good, and clip off your excess. And I think we're going to add this one. They come right around there for that one. So look at those beautiful fuchsia. I'll turn that way. Look at, ooh, look at that. That one's pretty. It's just so fun to see how they all turn out and how you can create these different looks by the way that you place them together and the way the deco mesh is curling, and they're just so fun. I think they look so realistic, and it's my absolute favorite wreath design so far. I'm in love with this design, and I just don't think this would ever get old as a wreath or a gift. And especially with graduations coming up, I mean, how perfect is this to give to someone for a graduation gift and have flowers that are gonna last forever. This one right around, I'll keep this one right around here. Okay, so I'm gonna place this last one, and then we're gonna get ready to move on to another color. So now we're gonna move on to another color with our tulips, and we're going to get all of our tulips together, and we're going to put them in the general area. And once again, we're going to start attaching them to the wreath form. And I am going to do this one so it's coming out the top higher than the other ones off this corner here. And it just looks like it's just spilling over the top when you do it that way. I think it just looks so pretty. And so the first one, like I said, here's the corner, and I'm going to bring this pretty high to the corner right here. The zip tie is going to go above this rubber band here. And as you can see, I'm pretty close to this corner right here, and it's just going to spill. Right, I'm gonna get this, that's the second one in. I'm just gonna go a little bit further in there. And that one I'm gonna put just like that, keeping my zip tie on the top part of the rubber band, not the bottom part, because you want to make sure it's nice and secure on your plastic mesh form. And we're clipping each one as we go, and we have that one spilling over the top edge there. And now we're going to start designing our purple tulips. So this one I'll just kind of go a little bit higher, maybe not as low as these, maybe just a tad higher there. And we're going to start building up our design now with our next color. And just like we did with the other ones, there's no right or wrong. We're just gauging and putting them where we think they're gonna look pretty, and we're working from the top down, and we're securing everything with our zip ties and our beautiful tulips. And we're just taking each one at a time, and you know they all have a different look to them, so you decide where you want them, what kind of look you're after. See, this one I'm gonna go a little bit lower, so it just looks like everything's a little bit different. Let's see, let me play it around a little bit more here. I'll put that one right there. So this one, I'll go right around here. So I'm continuing carrying my purple tulips here to my wire mesh form. And this one, I'll just kind of stagger a little bit there. So everything's a little bit spilling out the top a little bit different. Make it look more realistic. And I'm just clipping each one as I go. And I'm just building and layering and grouping all my colors together here. And I'm working my way from the top down to the bottom. And you can see that it's starting to take form. And look at how beautiful this is. I think it's coming along beautifully, and it really starts taking shape very quickly. So I'm going to keep working my way down with these last few purple. I'm going to secure the rest of these, and then we're going to move to another color. So as you can see, I'm just staggering, layering them, trying to covering up rubber bands, and not everything's going to be covered. You're going to have some spaces and gaps, and then that's where we're going to be using our little leaves and stem fillers. So let me finish adding these purple, the rest of the purple, and then we'll come back and start on another color. So I've added the pink tulips now, and everything is secured to our plastic mesh frame or mesh mat. And now we're going to continue on with our yellow tulips, and we're going to keep building up our design. And we did have a little bit of deco mesh left in each color, so if you did want to add an extra tulip here and there, you are welcome to do so. And I'm going to go ahead and just keep moving with the yellow, and I'm working my way down. I'll put these about like so. That's about how I'll do the yellows. And then you can see we have just a little bit of this green here at the tip that we will be covering, of this plastic mesh here, and then we're going to be using this green for the stems of our tulips. So I'm going to go ahead and add my yellow now and work my way down, and then we're going to meet right back. So I've added the very last tulip here, and look at how gorgeous our bouquet is turning out. So now we have our green, the greenery that we had made earlier, and we're going to be using a lot of this here. See, it's going to make the stems for down below, and then we're also going to use it as fillers. But right now we're just going to take one at a time, and we'll split that in half. And then what we're going to do is, if you see any gaps or any place that you just want to add a little touch of stems or little greenery sticking out, we're going to do that. So you're going to find the spot that you like, and you're going to zip tie it down just like we've done everything else. And I'm gonna hold this with my clip while I get the zip tie ready. And we're gonna just start adding some greenery. So I'm just finding the open spot here in my mesh where I'm gonna put my first splash of greenery. So this is my stem that I have divided in half, and I have my zip tie right there ready to hold it. And we're just going to start adding some stems in, just to kind of add a little splash of color. And you're also using it, this one came unrolled, so I'm just going to take it corner to corner. That's why it's nice to keep them in those little clips, or this is what happens. So we're just going to roll this again. And we're going to divide that in half. And we're just going to start placing our greenery wherever that we like it. And I'm going to start adding a few more pieces of green in the design and check right back. So now I'm just going to start adding some greenery wherever I'd like to, a little splash of color to come out my design. So I can see a little bit of the mat right there, and I'm going to take that moment to place my zip tie. And then I'm going to go ahead and nestle that stem in there. And we'll just zip tie that in there and make sure you clip it. And then there's another piece, and you can always, you know, move it around, place it however you'd like. So there's a couple pieces of greenery, and I'm just going to add a couple more coming out, different spots. Maybe I'll do one, let's see, one right around here. All right, so I'm going to add this other one, and then we're going to add some more down towards the bottom. So now we're working our way down, and we have two more of these green stems, and we're going to fold these in half, and we're just going to kind of put these down towards the bottom here. We want these to not be all the way down here, but about halfway, and so the little stem comes up like so and kind of layers over that. And we're going to go ahead and place these two with zip ties, the two pieces of greenery here, and these are folded in half, and they're right along the edge of this plastic mesh here. So I'm going to put one on this side, and then I'm going to do one on the other side, and another one. We're going to fold that in half, and then we're going to do that right around the same distance on this side. And you want it kind of along that edge there. I mean, it doesn't have to be right on the edge, but pretty close. Make sure you go in far enough so you get it in the holes there. Okay. We're getting there. Look at how pretty our bouquet is turning out. So now I'm gonna have to cut some more of our greenery. So I've made 6 of our stems, and we're working our way down towards this last part of our plastic mesh. And basically these are gonna come down. We're just gonna stagger them just a little bit with these 2 right here. And these are basically going to go like so. We'll be attaching these to this last little part, but there is a couple little last details that we're gonna do, and it's just a very easy thing. And plus, if you wanna make any more of these long stems to add any more little greenery coming out, that's up to you. If you wanna add any more tulips, that is up to you as well. It's nice that we did have a little bit left in the deco mesh rolls. So if you did want to add one here or there, you have that option. So before we attach these 6, I want to show you one last thing that we're going to do. And we're going to cut another 10-inch square here, and this is what we're going to do to make our leaves. So we're going to do curl side up, and we're going to go straight the finished edge on the right, and we're going to bring the corners together, corner to corner, just like that. And then we're just going to pinch it in the middle, and then we have this little leaf-like, looks like a leaf. And what we're gonna do is we can either place these under, we can do a couple here if we want, before we start these. So you can do them that way, you can put them on top, whatever you think looks good. And I'm thinking, I like this look right here. We're gonna add 2 right here in the middle, and then we're gonna add our 6. So that is up to you. However many leaves you wanna add, you wanna add a pile on top, down below. There is no right or wrong, and just be careful because this will start sticking on everything and fraying. So we're gonna add a couple of these leaves right here. I'm just gonna pinch. I don't have another clip, or I'd use that to hold it, but I can just hold it in my finger like that. And I'm gonna place this one here, and I'm gonna place one right here. And that way I'm just gonna have these leaves sitting right in the middle of this little section here. So I'm going to place this one up here. And we are gonna go this way. So we're going, instead of bringing it this way, we're gonna go vertical. So I'm gonna bring this like that. And I'm just gonna bring it about less than a half, about a quarter inch or so. Just enough to grab this bundle. And I have it right here. And I'm just gonna place that right in the middle of that zip tie. And I'll tighten this and cut it off. Look how pretty. We have a nice little set of leaves like right there. And I'm gonna clip that off, and oh, doesn't that look gorgeous? And we're gonna do one more. I'm gonna put it right here, just a little bit below this, right in this little area. Just wanna be careful I don't get my deco mesh stuck on other things, so I'll start fraying. And it's okay if it frays because it does add, oops, I went the wrong way. See, I went across and I need to go vertical. The fraying adds character, but I'm also gonna show you an option that we're gonna do, and we're gonna spray it with a Mod Podge acrylic sealer, and that's gonna keep all these edges nice and weatherproof, and they won't fray as much as they would without it. So it's just going to kind of seal everything. And we have another leaf right there. And you can put as many leaves that you want, as many stems. There is no right or wrong. This is just the design that I chose today. So I have the 2 underneath and folded in half. Then I have my 2 leaves. And then we have our 6 long stems that we are going to attach now. And I want to stagger these just below the stems that are sticking out right there. Or you can do whatever you want. If you want to go, I'm going to do this one actually. Well, we'll see. Maybe I'll do. No, I'm going to go lower. So we have this little bit of mesh right here to secure it. And we can just work our way down right here towards the point. And I'm just going to try to put those right there. I want to cover up this little area. And you can do whatever. You can put your stems under the leaf, over the leaf, whatever you want to do. So we're going to attach these 6 right around here or so. And that is going to cover up the rest of our plastic mesh right here, this little point. That'll cover up that and the rest in the middle here. And look at how beautiful our tulip bouquet design is coming out. I mean, isn't that absolutely gorgeous? And if that does not scream spring, I don't know what does. I am obsessed with this design, and I've been so excited to share it with everybody. And I hope you have a good time making this, because I've had so much fun, and it just brings my heart so much joy every time I look at this wreath. So we're going to finish this up. We are very close. We're going to attach these 6 stems, and then we're going to do our finishing bow, and we are just about finished. All right, so I'm going to be attaching these last 6 stems, and I'm going to attach them 2 at a time. And we're just going to find a placement, and I want to stay to the right side of our plastic mesh here. Make sure we have everything covered up. And I'll bring this one pretty close to the edge, but I don't want to go, make sure I have it in a good square that it's gonna not rip, be right at the edge. Okay, so you just place them however you want. You see it's following our point right there, and I'm gonna add this one, and I'm doing 2 at a time right now. You know what? I want to get this a little bit closer to that edge. So I'm just going to cut that zip tie, and I'm going to move this a little bit closer. That was not quite where I wanted it. All right, so I'm going to get this one reattached here, and that happens. If you don't like it, that's what's good. I'm going to put this really close to the edge here. There we go. All right, so I have it on top of my leaves right there. And I'm going to attach the other 4, and we'll just do 2 at a time. There we go. That's much better. And I'll clip that down. And then we'll do this one in the center. And look at that. We have covered. I'll just kind of make it, layer it a little bit so it's not exactly, it doesn't have to be even right there. And we're gonna hold it while we get our zip tie ready. We'll do this one in the center. There we go, and we're getting ready to attach the last. Coming up, our last two stems of this beautiful tulip bouquet design. And then we'll put this one right here. And if you want to add any more leaves on top, you can do that. You can play around with these and move them anywhere that you would like. So we're going to attach this last one. We'll probably do that right around there, right in this last little gap. And look at, we've used every little bit. That one might be a little bit too close, I think, to the edge there. There we go. No, I might go up a little higher. Right there. We've used every bit of our deco mesh, or of our plastic mesh triangle. And look at that, it's all covered up by this beautiful bouquet that we worked on and made our way from the top down to the point. And we took our time and we made this beautiful creation together. And we're not quite done. We're going to add a finishing bow to this. And you can do, like I said, whatever you want with your stems, with your leaves. I think I like them on top with these below. And look at how pretty that has turned out. So let me take a peek at it from up here. I think I might add one. Probably add maybe one piece of one greenery here, and I might make one more tulip for right here. Okay, so we've added a couple more little finishing touches. I added another green stem up here and another tulip, and I just made a simple bow. I used my Bodabra, and I just used this beautiful silky white ribbon. It just reminded me of something that the florist would use. And I have it all with my Chanel stem. And now we're gonna do that finishing touch. And there's a little, I see some mesh right in here. And this is the part where I wanna put my bow. And we'll have the tails cover up right there. And I'm just gonna go ahead and place this finishing touch. I'm going to put the Chanel stems through some of these holes right in there and try to squeeze that bow right around there. And I'm just securing them back here. I'm twisting those, and then I'll come back and I'll clip this off with my wire cutters if I like where it's at. And we're gonna fluff up our bow a little bit here. Oh, look at how beautiful. Look at our gorgeous wreath. And if you want, we can always do another, I think we'll do that right now. We'll do one last touch just to cover those zip ties right there. And we'll make one more 10-inch. We'll just make a leaf here real quick. And we'll just do our 10 inches and curl side up, finish side to the right, and I'll bring the corners together. I'm just gonna pinch in the middle, and I wanna just kind of place this one right here, and I think it's just gonna make me feel a little bit better covering up those zip ties. And then the ribbon will just hang over the top, and this is gonna go vertical. And I'm just gonna find a little spot right here off to the stems, off to the side there of one of those stems. And I'm just gonna place that right there. And that's just gonna go right across those zip ties. And then we'll just have this one, and I'll just push that down towards the bottom or towards the mesh, cut that. And that way the ribbon will just cover up one little zip tie there instead of all of those. So you can play around with your stems, move them to whatever side that you would like. You can put them under your leaves, however you want to do your last little touch-ups. So basically that is our design today, and I always like to finish it. You have a couple options that I like to leave to do actually is this is a thicker zip tie, and this is what I'm going to use to hang our bouquet here. And just, I mean, come on, look at that. Is that not simply gorgeous and fun? And what a great gift to give to someone. What goes through my head is Mother's Day gift, a graduation gift. I mean, it's just a beautiful bouquet that will never die. So I'm going to put this hanger, I'm going to bring it down about 1.5 inches. This is a little bit thicker zip tie, but I like it for hanging purposes. So I'm just going to come up this way, and I have a thicker zip tie. It's how I like to, I don't want it to go over the top. So I'm going to just go about like so. I'm going to clip it off, and then you're going to have this little piece for your hanger. So you do have a couple extra options you don't have to do. You can leave it just like this, and it is perfectly fine. You can cut a piece of cardboard the size of your plastic mesh here, and you can put some hole punches in and zip tie it to the back, and that'll give it a little bit stiffer back if you'd like. And another thing I like to do if I have something with edges that can start to fray, this is a Mod Podge. It's a clear acrylic sealer, and that's going to help just seal the edges, finish off the edges so they won't continue fraying. And it'll help give it an additional weatherproof, even though this deco mesh lasts great in the outside elements. I hope you enjoyed crafting this gorgeous spring tulip bouquet with me today, and that you'll come back to my channel and craft with me some more. Thanks for watching Hollie Hobbies, from my heart to yours.